This is Morten from English TV, and this time, this is actually our first film that we're doing here from Printing United today, except our little morning broadcast. And I'm here at our friends from Ulitmate TechnoGraphics with Andrew and Ray. Guys, great booth you have here. Andrew, why are you exhibiting here at Printing United?
Why are we exhibiting? Well, we've not seen anybody for a couple of years, so we thought, let's push the boat out and get everybody to come to the booth.
Fantastic. When I look at, Ultimate, you've been around as one of the really well-established companies in the industry. Do you have anything new to bring to the market?
Always something new. Yeah, we just announced the release of our latest version, which will be 22.2. So that's available for people to see and will be released shortly after the show. So, looking forward to get reaction on that.
When we started planning our coverage of Printing United, we called it end-to-end.
Yes.
Because I think that one of the most important things for a lot of printing companies these days are end-to-end solutions, where you have the workflow automation, you have the MIS systems, the print, the binding, the embellishment, and everything. How do you fit into that mantra?
Okay, well, we fit in between pre-press and the press. So we do imposition, ganging, nesting. We take the one-up file and then prepare it for the press, talk to the press, deliver the PDF in post, ganged PDF to the press. But also we talk to the finishing device. So we send information to the finishing device to automate the setup of that device. So really from one up to the end, that's the process we're involved in.
We have been so fortunate that we have made some films from some of your customers during the last year here. And I was just wondering, when I see the companies that are using your technology, it seems that hot folders and setup of automation, and it seems very simple and very convenient. Does that also applies to the new versions? Or?
Yeah, the concept is that you start small and then you grow big, which is the automation idea anyway. So there's companies who currently use hot folders, maybe even people dropping things into hot folders, CSRs and things like that. But then as you progress and you want to automate more, you use XML and JDF, so the hot folders can disappear if they need to. But we just basically cover all bases in that side of it.
We're going to see a demo in a moment, Ray, but before I just want to get you into the conversation as well. You have worked for Ultimate. I met you, I think, the first time in Japan some years ago. When you talk to customers and see how important both Ultimate as a company, but also the workflow automation thing. I remember I spoke to you at your head office in Canada, where you said that it's only three things: it's all, automation, automation, automation. Is that just something that keeps evolving?
It evolves, but it comes back to the same thing: automation. And automation is about integration. So when we met, as you said, in Japan for Smart Factory, it's all about bringing together equipment, machines, as Andrew was saying, printing, bindery finishing, but also beyond that with the robots, with everything carrying paper, so that we can relieve a factory from having to involve so many human resources into the manufacturing process and bring everything integrated together to produce automatically.
Andrew, I think that a few years ago when people talked about workflow automation, the most important thing was probably that you wanted to save money on labor. But today it's also because of labor shortage, right?
It's a lot of things, but labor shortage is a big one at the moment, not just in this industry, but in others as well. So that's one thing that we're pushing here. We've done the video we did at SG360, we're talking about taking people off the street and training them to use finishing equipment within a day. And that's something we're focusing on here with our UB promotion. But it's a big thing. But it also works all the way through the chain. It's not just the only driver for automation, obviously.
And Ray, I can't help thinking about, because one thing is that we talk about workflow automation. I get fascinated what is possible to do, but I was just wondering, does it also, you have a lot of experience, does it also make a lot of financial sense for the printing companies?
It does, because when you attach together human resources issues, having to hire, retain, train on a consistent basis your resources, the automation definitely brings higher profitability, higher productivity, which allows any PSPs to bring on more jobs, so to increase their capabilities without having to increase their human resources. Automation definitely impacts the bottom line.
Everybody who is investing in anything, whether it's hardware, software, always look at repayment time and also depreciation. Is there like a thumb of rule for how fast you have repayment when you invest in real and great automation flows?
Well, you said the one keyword, fast. It's all related to your volume. The higher your volume, the faster you're going to pay back your investment. Automation pays for itself. It's just not the impact on the bottom line, it's the impact on your operational capabilities, how fast you can deliver printed products to your customers. That's all related to the automation factor.
You come from another company in the industry, so you have, of course, a lot of experience from, also from other companies and how this. How important is Ultimate in I mean, because now with the Ultimate bindery and InfoStrip that a lot of people know.
Yeah.
I mean, how is the competitive situation from your perspective?
Yeah, we're really competitive. I mean, going back to my previous life, if you like, there used to be a big focus on buy a faster press, and then make the workflow faster to deliver the files to the press. And what do you end up with now? You end up with sheets on the floor sitting on pallets. Well, our emphasis is not sheets on the floor, jobs out the door, things you can invoice and get money from. So yeah, we're in a key situation where we're not just doing the imposition, ganging, nesting, but we're also taking care of the following process, the embellishment. We're sending files where they need to go with the information they need. I don't really think anybody else is doing that.
And I was just about to ask you, because that sounds like a relatively unique spot for a software company to be also so involved in the binding automation part. So this is a relatively new piece of software, right? Or is it just, no?
Well, actually,
I thought so. I'm so stupid.
Actually, as you say it, it's new for a lot of PSPs out there. Automation and bindery is something that for them is new. For us, it's over 15 years of expertise. 55 plus equipment are automated in Ultimate bindery today. Every machine has a specific driver that understands the capabilities of that piece of equipment. So that whole experience is bound on 15 years of development, of customer implementation. And today we can implement with PSPs that have one piece of equipment, bindery, talking about bindery, to PSPs that have complete lines with 10 or 15 machines.
So the renewed kind of focus on the bindery solutions, is that just because of both the labor shortage, but also because there is an increased interest in general to focus on more and more automation?
That's a good question. Labor shortage is one thing. Increased pressure on fast deliveries. There's more and more PSPs that are pressured by their competitors to deliver the same day. So order by noontime, we print the afternoon, we cut, we finish the products, we package it, and we ship it the same day. To be able to do this and to be competitive, you need to invest in bindery automation. So for us, actually the demand is coming from PSPs nowadays in comparison to 10 years ago where we were educating the market.
Fantastic. You want to show us something today. What are you going to show us?
End-to-end integration, where we produce, impose, dispatch to different presses, and also drive the finishing devices with Ultimate bindery.
Why don't you just take it away, Ray? Oh, take it away, Ray. Did you hear that? Okay.
And the end-to-end automation, it's really all about driving incoming jobs from different sources, different customers, and getting them sent for different presses. So we have to, based on rules and conditions, impose the files, whether, as Andrew was saying, gang jobs, different sizes together, do nesting for labels, packaging, short run packaging. There's a lot of PSPs now that have storefronts, web-to-print sites, where they'll offer you to customize a chocolate box. Now, if I do a run of 50 for you, 100 for the next customer, 25 for the other customer, the only way to be able to do this profitably and fast is to automate the process. So getting the incoming job, impose that job, as InfoStrip will now impose a series of jobs. Right now I'm using Scalable, and Scalable has the ability...
So sorry to interrupt, so this is basically what you see as a customer? As a PSP.
Exactly, if you want to see it, because the goal, of course, is to implement the solution, set your rules and conditions, and then let the system play lights out. Send the ready-to-print files to different presses, and as Andrew was describing, the finishing parameters to the devices automatically, so you don't have to see the screen if you don't want to.
But I like seeing it, so you have to tell me a little bit more what we see here, Ray.
So right now in InfoStrip, we can set up different rules and conditions. Right now I'm browsing in the interface where I can set parameters such as automatic bleed, as automatic templates. So the system will select templates automatically, add blank pages if I'm producing booklets. All these are rules-based. They're attached to a hot folder. Once it's implemented, the system receives the jobs. As you see right now, there's hundreds of jobs being dropped to a hot folder. The system will actually detect those and start indexing and processing. My system right now has 8 different imposition instances, so it is a scalable solution. In my shop, I could have 10, 15, 20, or plus print engines. ImpoStrip will dispatch each file to every printer. Afterwards, the file that Andrew was talking about, the famous JDF, that will get sent to Ultimate Bindery. Ultimate Bindery will again know what is the finishing intent and set the equipment automatically, so the operator doesn't have to do anything.
And when you talk about Ultimate Bindery, is that like a plug-in to the ImpoStrip, or is it a separate software?
It's a good question. It is a separate software. It integrates well, of course, with ImpoStrip. So we receive what we call a JDF lacrim from ImpoStrip into Ultimate Bindery, but Ultimate Bindery can receive those files from other sources as well. And then I have different equipment in my, actually today I have all of them, but I have drivers for specific equipment I have as a PSP, and that will allow me to build finishing flows. The finishing flows will be, for example, I want to do booklets with 2 stitches, spaced by 10 millimeters or half an inch, crown type or over type, and that will set the machine automatically no matter what size of a booklet I'm producing. So as an operator, I don't have to do anything. I just have to look at the green lights on my production floor and see that everything is producing automatically.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So I think that when you see things like this, of course you had like a little TV kitchen because it was well prepared, of course, right? If I was just thinking that if I was a new customer to ImpoStrip and Ultimate Bindery, I was just wondering, is it difficult to get started, or how do I mean, I'm a new customer. How would I get started with your software?
Well, the good thing is, bindery-wise, I told you we're 15 years old. Imposition-wise, we're over 34 years old. So we have a line of products that our customers can evolve with, starting with a hot folder-based entry-level solution, very affordable solution, and you can start implement automation that way, and then grow as your volume goes on.
Okay, so if I understand you right, so that basically means that this is not just like one solution fits all. Basically, the solution grows with your company.
Exactly. And we took that trend to really adapt to not only the size, the volume our customers are doing, but also their print capabilities. Not everybody does nesting or irregular shape, packaging, labels, and so on. Not everybody does large format printing. Not everybody has offset and digital. So we have solutions for all those different configurations and automation level, of course. If you don't want to talk XML JDF, we can talk hot folder automation.
Fantastic. And just to understand, sometimes you have to explain something 2 times for me. So I'm a new customer. Yep. Let's say that I'm one of the more advanced customers that is looking to really automate my shop 100%. And the reason I'm asking is I think that sometimes we always take the entry-level perspective. If you really take it to the full extent, what are the opportunities and possibilities? I mean, because you have APIs, you have, as you say, XML and integration points, things like that. I was just wondering, if you really take it to the first extent, how close are we to a lights-out production?
First of all, is to understand what your actual capabilities and challenges are. There's the operational question. How many devices do you have? How many workflows do you have? Do you have a workflow in offset, a couple workflows in digital, and then a workflow in large format? After we understand all this, we can bridge together what is the ideal way of creating the print-ready file. We call this to centralize the process. So instead of having 2, 3, 4 different workflows to create the imposed print-ready file, we use one solution, if we can, to drive the imposition process and print. And then, what do you have in terms of bindery equipment today? And what do you envision in the short future? Once we have all those answers, we can pull back together a plan with our customer to really automate either to the full-fledged level right now or do it step by step. We have, as you said, very large organizations that do imposition today, but their challenge is actually to centralize. And then there's the bindery connection. So we have actually the portfolio to really connect the way our customers are ready to connect.
So that does also mean that if you have like a large organization, you can have more licenses, more computer power, so you can still scale even if you're using the full-size solution, right?
Yeah, speed. When that comes to speed, it's the second word I love. I love automation, but I love speed. And speed is something we address in a clever way where the number of jobs, the size of the jobs, or the number of devices a customer have is not an issue at all. We have
It's
invested.
just the speed that basically decide whether you need additional licenses, basically.
Yeah, well, additional licenses or scalable in-position servers, instances, to really produce at the speed the customer expects. And again, it's related to the number of jobs, the size of those jobs. If you have 1 million pages in a VDP job, it's very different than producing, for example, 1,000 calendars, which are very, very small files. But we can adapt our technology to both ways and really deliver in speed, as you were saying earlier, is related to making profits.
Last question, I think. I was just wondering, because I mean, I understand that if you have like the entry-level solutions, you typically start maybe with the hot folder kind of thing, and then you go to the fully fledged. Does that mean that the software that you sell is applicable for all kinds of companies, or is it like some specific segment where you find your software better?
Oh, the range is I would say complete in total, but there's only a few segments where we play a little less. But whether it's commercial, transactional, really specific markets like, you know, one title of a book, one copy, which we call Book of One, we strive in that market. Transactional is the same way. When you have large files, we strive in that market. When you are a PSP and you have 2 or 3 devices, we strive in that market too, because you also have the challenge where you have 2 or 3 ways of creating print-ready files. And this is a one step forward to automate that process. Then you consider automating your cutter, just a simple guillotine that was not automated yesterday that you can automate now with Ultimate Bindery. Simple solution, minimal investment, but it's a first step towards that goal of, you know, bringing everything to an automation level.
Fantastic. See, this was, I think it was a great presentation, demo, really interesting talks with both Andrew and Ray, of course. This is an example of what you experience when you get to a trade show, because you have time to experience demos, talk to the specialist, instead of just having everything online. So I think that is, I mean, we are still early at the trade show here, Wednesday the 19th. So when you see this, you still have an opportunity to go and visit the booth. And the booth is, what is the booth?
848.
848. So see, we got it, right? So see you in a moment.